Nice. What's going on, YouTube?
Are you okay? That definitely was your funny bone. Are you all right?
Oh, my pointing
Workman's
hand.
comp.
My pointing hand.
What is it pointing in?
How did it get so close?
That's not. I don't know what you were doing. You reached out so far.
I did.
You almost touched a YouTube viewer in the nose.
I picked somebody's
You booped him.
nose.
You booped somebody.
Oh.
Are you all right?
Oh. There's still a dent. Jeez.
In your bone. What's going on, YouTube?
I'm good. I'm a professional.
Are you? What?
Mama me, mama me,
No, you can't do vocal exercises right now. We already did that.
Okay. What's going on, YouTube? I'm Scotch.
Use your other hand.
I had to. This one's done. Out of commission.
And I'm Sniff.
And we're ScotchNSniff.
And today we wanted to talk to you guys about the perfect whiskey and why
There's a perfect whiskey?
and why whiskey ratings literally do not matter.
Wait a second.
You almost died.
I'm
Are you gonna need a minute?
No, I'm okay.
right.
We can keep
can
going.
keep going?
I'm professional.
Professional.
Mama me, memu.
Why is that your vocal exercise?
That's why. Whenever you're a professional, that's what you do. I'm slobbering all over the place because I'm in pain.
Oh, I thought it was the whiskey. All right, so basically,
Shout out to Ryan Reynolds.
a lot of people are like, "What's the perfect whiskey?" A lot of people are like,
What's the best
What's
whiskey?
the best whiskey? There are so many factors that go into this that people really need to analyze before they can say it's this, because you don't understand. Like everybody's palates are subjective, so that means
Completely.
the way you taste things are not the same way he tastes things, are not the same way
Impossible.
she tastes things, are not the same way they taste things. Everybody's tasting things different ways. There's a lot of commonality in the way a lot of us taste things, but just like with colors where we don't all call the same color, even
Right.
though it's probably close, it's the same thing with palate and flavor. We may say this tastes like overripened banana, but not everybody tries overripened banana, or the overripened banana you've tried is a little different, or you ate a plantain. So, I mean, there's so many things that go on there for you to just say like, this is the best of the best.
Right.
You know? And it makes it a little impossible to say that there's
Not
a
a
best
little
whiskey.
impossible.
It actually is impossible.
It is impossible.
You could say, what's the perfect whiskey for me?
There you go. Then that's
then-
the perfect way to phrase it.
Right, because you're breaking down, I don't need to know the perfect whiskey for everybody out there in the world. I just want to know the perfect whiskey for my palate.
But wait a second, Sniff. What about all these competitions where they say this is the best whiskey in this type of, region? What is that all about?
Well, Scotch, funny you should ask.
Is it?
Those, I mean, it is now. Those competitions, there's a lot to unpack in competitions, whether or not you believe they're even fair. Because we have friends who actually have been like judges in some of these competitions. Some of these competitions, you're getting a plate of 10 whiskeys. You're asked to go through and rate them very quickly, and then you're getting another plate of 10 whiskeys, and you're asking to go through them and rate them very quickly, and they keep doing this all day for days.
If you've ever been to a tasting, a multiple tasting, your palate can only stand so much.
Yeah.
At some point, you're gonna be done. Your tongue's gonna be done.
Absolutely. Palate fatigue is real, and at some point, maybe everybody's different. I know for me personally, it's right about like 6 to 8. Once I've had 6 to 8 pours that I'm really trying to think about, it just, everything after 8 is like, well, it was all right. It was all right. Like everything else is just, I can't get everything I need to get out of it. That's why fresh palates are so important, but it's also important to know your own palate. So a lot of these competitions you see towards the end of the competition, all these high proof whiskeys ended up getting really good scores because if you have palate fatigue, sometimes the only thing that can cut through it
Is high proof whiskey.
is high proof whiskey.
like a higher proof.
It's like tons of alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's kind of difficult. And then some of these competitions, it feels like as long as you paid the couple $100 to get into the competition,
you get your trophy.
you're gonna get
Yeah.
you're gonna get a
Or
trophy.
if you paid more for a higher tier or
Yeah.
a bigger vendor table, then you get 2 trophies.
So some of it is like it feels like pay to play,
or maybe a platinum
like
trophy.
Activision. Some of it feels like pay to play or pay to win. So you can't always trust those either. So the best thing you can do to find the perfect whiskey for you is learn your palate better.
And honestly, you can watch videos like us or any other YouTuber out there who's tasting, and you can get an idea of what something tastes like. And that's one of the things that we always kind of break into a whiskey to pull out flavors. Having 2 people is really nice because then you get 2 different ideas of what a flavor could be.
Right.
And yeah.
Because a lot of times I'll say buttercream, and you'll be like, no, creme brulee. and I'll have to sit there and be like, do I really mean creme brulee or am I tasting buttercream? And like, it's different for every person. So I only mentioned that one because that happens a lot, specifically with that flavor profile, because sometimes I really am like, no, that's what I would call buttercream, because what I've tasted in my experience is very different than somebody who's gone to chef school, pastry school, and like they've learned like this is the perfect buttercream or this is the perfect way to make creme brulee. So how you taste things is going to be very different, because some people who taste creme brulee out there, you go to a crappy restaurant, it's going to taste more like scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
And less like creme brulee. And it's
or you're just going to taste the burnt sugar on it, or maybe
exactly.
it got more brulee too much, and then it's just going to be burnt caramel, and you're not going to taste the basically like the the creme anglaise underneath.
I mean, I want to taste the burnt caramel though.
Yeah, but you don't want it too burnt. There is a fine edge.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
No, I want good creme brulee, but also good.
But then even that's kind of objective what good creme brulee is. Maybe you want a more firm custard. Maybe you like a looser custard. Maybe there are people who like that scrambled eggs type. And that goes the same way about your whiskeys. Maybe you do like peat, but you don't like too strong of a peat. So you like Balvenie peat, or you like maybe like a
Highland Parky peat?
A Highland Parky peat, yeah.
A little more floral?
Yeah, not necessarily like a Lagavulin or a Lafroig peat, or let's not even break into the Ardbeg peats. Yeah.
I think it's a little gross there. But so it's important to know those things. Obviously, like we said, pay to play. Some of them. And then sometimes in the whiskey competitions, it just doesn't make any sense. Maybe they won't send the exact same sample that everybody else is getting in their bottles. Sometimes, Henry McKenna, they'll send like the honey barrel if it's a single barrel, and you get this award and everybody goes nuts, and $35 bottle on the shelf is now $100 everywhere you go, and Total Wine has put it behind the cabinet for some reason. Like this kind of stuff doesn't make any sense, because that was one single barrel, and once those 200 bottles are gone, everybody else is getting other single barrels.
Right.
And unless it's, let's say Jack Daniels or one of these companies that has computerized rick houses and everything is perfect temperature and everything's controlled.
Nothing changes, the variables are all the same.
They're keeping things as stable as they possibly can so they can get the same result every time, which is why it can be a little boring but predictable, which is nice sometimes. You get the Henry McKenna 10 where, yeah, the honey barrel was good, but the rest are, I don't know. I've had 2 bottles and we actually have a story of a bottle. I left a bottle at a friend's house, and the last time I talked to him, he had left it at another friend's house. So, I mean, not all of them are good. Sometimes it's just an award won on one single barrel, and that's not really fair to the consumer, to us.
And a huge responsibility, or maybe the like something that you have to do that's not going to create an injustice for you as a taster, is you have to go out and taste these things. You have to give them a try. Go to your local bar that you know has good,
a good selection.
Not only a good selection, but that they run through. They have good turnover, because you want a newer bottle, something that's not just been sitting on the shelf and has been oxidized. Yeah, because it's going to change the taste of the whiskey as well. So, yeah, you have to try it. You have to come up with your own kind of idea.
That's the only way to find the perfect whiskey. Because the perfect whiskey for me is not the perfect whiskey for him.
Yeah,
I already found my perfect whiskey, so I found like the second best perfect whiskey.
What's your perfect whiskey?
I don't know. I assume that I haven't had it yet.
Oh, okay. And then your second best, or your second most perfect?
Oh, we're gonna crack into it in a couple months.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. But yeah, it's all a trial and error process.
Definitely.
That you have to go through. Sure, you can take our opinions, but we don't expect you to take our opinions as gospel truth either. We expect you to go out, hear one of our recommendations, and give it a try for yourself. We tried Beamber for the first time, loved it, had glowing reviews.
Bimber.
You might try it and be like, wow, this is super underwhelming.
Why did you say Beamber?
Beamber?
Bimber, right?
Bimber.
Is it not Bimber?
Tomato?
Yeah, there it is again.
Yeah. Beamer is it's what came out.
Mastitis, mastitis.
Beamer?
It's just like that. Beamer. Sure.
Beamer?
Does some people say Bimmer though? No.
Nobody says Bimmer.
It's Beamer.
Beamer. So Bimber? Yeah. Okay.
Feels like a
yeah. So you have
trail.
to give it a try. You have to give it a try.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
That's the bottom line for all of it. So if you're looking for the perfect whiskey, go try a bunch. Once you've tried 1,000 whiskeys.
You're putting a number on it?
Because the reality is, some people will find their perfect whiskey in 10. Some will find it in 100.
I think
some won't find it forever.
I think just like what you said, you still haven't found your perfect whiskey because you
I
never know.
Because I just assume that the one I found is the second to the perfect.
Well, because you just never know.
Correct.
You might, like, until we tasted Bimber,
Oh,
you never knew.
correct.
Until we tasted Rare Perfection 15,
Yeah, no, yes.
you never knew.
That's the thing. So you just have to keep tasting whiskeys
Right,
in a safe and controlled manner.
right.
I didn't want somebody to think like you just gotta keep tasting whiskeys until you die.
Well, at some point, just like what you kind of spoke to before, you're going to have palate fatigue.
Yep.
You're just not going to taste anything whatsoever. So,
Yeah, that's not stopping some people. Some people are challenge accepted.
no, I know. There was that one guy on YouTube who used to just like down a bottle, and that was his shtick. But I think you'll just get cirrhosis.
You will literally die. That will literally kill you.
Psoriasis? No, cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis, not. I mean, he might have dry skin if he spills it all over his body. He'll get psoriasis.
Yeah, alcohol will dry you out.
Yeah. So yeah, short and sweet video just about the perfect whiskey because I know a lot of people think that there's a perfect whiskey, but there might be a perfect whiskey.
Well, maybe not so short because, sorry for interrupting.
Oh, my bad.
So you see all these YouTubers out there and they say similar things like, this is the best whiskey, this is the best bourbon, this is the best rye. Take it with a grain of salt because honestly, like, you don't know what their palate is. They could eat steaks all day and have nothing about delicate textures or anything.
They might just eat chicken fingers.
They could eat chicken
macaroni and
fingers.
cheese all day.
What's wrong with macaroni and cheese?
Macaroni and cheese. But I like to really mix with the types of cheeses and that little panko bread and caramel on top.
Little Havarti,
Ooh.
Fontina.
Again, just like with whiskeys,
Swiss
when you say something even as simple as mac and cheese, you can't say mac and cheese and everybody mean the same
Mozzarella.
thing.
Right.
Because I mean,
If you're from the South, yeah, everybody's traditional mac and cheese is going to change. Just
And
like
so
everybody's
your
like
flavor
turkey
profiles.
recipe.
Yeah,
I like to
some
fry
people-
a turkey.
who doesn't have
barbecue
gravy
turkey.
at Thanksgiving time, Jasper?
Who doesn't have what?
It doesn't matter. It's weird. It's a long story, but I hope he watches this video because
You are doing yourself
the
a
only
disservice.
weirdo. No, everybody.
No gravy?
Everybody in my work
Gravy
office.
is the lubricant of Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's a what?
These are facts.
Gravy is the lubricant. Quote him on it because
me on
I'm
it.
gonna make a meme out of this.
And that makes me want to make gravy right now and go give it to Jasper.
That's gross.
Jasper, you need to have gravy.
I think the J is solid.
Is
It's
it?
not-
Is it like?
It's
It's a
Jasper,
hard J.
not Jasper.
It's not choking.
No, nobody's choking.
I love to hog.
So, and is it take it with a grain of salt or take it with a grain of salt?
What was the first? What was the difference between
Take
those
it
two?
worth of grain of
Oh
salt?
no,
or
take it with a grain of salt because what you're wanting to do is add that grain of salt to because that's salt is a flavor enhancer and it's gonna help you experience things. Not take it worth a grain of salt. It doesn't even
like,
make
comment,
grammatical
subscribe.
sense.
I have been saying that wrong my whole life.
How have you been saying it?
I just told you. You
Take
couldn't
it
even hear
worth-
the difference. That's why
worth a
nobody.
grain of salt.
Yeah, it's worth a grain of salt. Like, comment, subscribe, or just laugh at me, like my little brother's doing.
Take it worth a grain of salt.
Because you got the
No, yeah.
worth your weight in salt is like close.
That's a completely different.
Right, because salt used to be valuable, so worth your weight is a lot. It's a very valuable.
With a grain of salt. Take it worth a grain of salt.
We're done. We're done here. We're done.